なに行きたい気分です。楽しみにしています。
Rogue One, a Star Wars story. This, if you were to put a number on this, this would be like 3.1. It's the transition point between Star Wars 3 and Star Wars 4. And it perfectly fits in because they have this film designed so that the ending completely slides into the very first Star Wars movie with the Princess Leia's ship escaping Darth Vader's ship and then being caught. Rogue One is principally about the design, how the Death Star got designed, why it was so easy to blow it up by just shooting a missile down the exhaust vent. It was actually designed that way by the designer who was working against the building of this ship. He was enlisted by General Krennic. Admiral Tarkin makes an appearance in this film. Krennic and Tarkin, they freaking hate each other, and I actually thought the anger between the two was extremely interesting, and how Tarkin's arrogance was just incredible. He wanted all the glory of the Death Star for himself and stole it away from Krennic, who tried to regain it again, but during a meeting with Darth Vader, and Darth Vader wasn't having none of it and put Krennic in his place. Unfortunately, at the end of this movie, everyone dies, including Krennic. But not before the plans to the Death Star and how to blow it up are released to the Rebel Alliance. So the movie starts off with the arresting of the scientist who used to work for Empire. He is forcefully recruited once more at gunpoint to build the Death Star and to get revenge, or because he knew the Death Star should be stopped. He created a flaw in the exhaust vent so that if you fired a missile down into the exhaust vent, you'd take out the entire Death Star. The storyline works really well here. You'll love all the characters, especially the new robot, K2SO, who's actually an Empire robot, but his brain was reworked so he would work with the rebels. In this film, we do get to see more of Darth Vader and him living in his castle and having to submit himself to being disassembled and put in a vat of liquid where whatever physical cells that he has left in his body are regenerated and fed through this liquid. Another part of this movie that I liked with regards to the mechanism is the ship it's somewhat like a Corvette. It's used for ramming, and this ship rams a Imperial Star Destroyer and pushes it into the other Star Destroyer, and they both crash into the protection shield, thus rendering it completely useless and unoperable, and allowing our heroes to send the message and get the message out to the Rebel Alliance, where Darth Vader tries to hunt down the Rebel ship containing the information and retrieve the droid who now holds the information. And thus we get Star Wars, the beginning of Star Wars 4. Rogue One is definitely one that you need to have in Star Wars collection. I recommend that you watch this movie only after you've seen Star Wars 3 and before you see Star Wars 4, because it fits in perfectly. It's much better to watch it as a sequence of events rather than as the timing in which it was produced. This is an excellent adventure film. I love the way K2SO sacrifices himself in order to protect his buddies and help them carry out the mission to obtain and retrieve the information on how to blow up the Death Star.